overnight line movers. We'll take a look at just a few moments. If you're just tuning into that betting show here on January 24, 2019, if you haven't done so yet, give us a follow on Twitter at SBR Sports Picks on Twitter. And also, if you're watching right now, obviously through YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Each and every time Teddy and I go live on that betting show, you get the notification to pop in and watch. And this segment that we go over for line movers, if you haven't used SBRodds.com, please do so. Get those up-to-date live movements as they happen. Big game in the OVC tonight, Teddy. Most people say, OVC, what is that? Some, rec league or Division III? No, playing pretty good basketball there. Murray State opens up as a minus 6-point favorite. Dipped to about 4.5 earlier this morning, but now seeing some 5s and 5.5s come back. Belmont's going to take on Murray State over under 159. Moneyline split of minus 200 plus 170. A lot of the times, Teddy, you have these, big TV games. They don't get a ton of line movement, but some of these smaller conferences here, if you can jump in and have an edge, you can steal a line or two. And it looks like this line's moving. Good basketball game. If you haven't seen these two teams play, one of the two best in the conference. Should be a lot of fun. And they got a real good player, Teddy, on one side of the court for Murray State.
Sure. OVC, yeah, you know me. If we're going to do an old school rap.
1992, baby.
But exactly. But look, this Murray State team, I'm surprised that the money came as heavily as it did on Belmont. There was a clear overnight sharp move towards Belmont. We have seen some buyback on Murray State already this morning. The 6s bet down to 4.5. Now we're seeing mostly 5 and 5.5s out there. And of course, you talk about the one guy you got to watch in this game. That's Ja Morant. He will be an NBA lottery pick. He's been a stud for the Racers this season, last season, but an absolute difference maker. Played all 40 minutes last game, scored 40 points for Murray State. But you talk about the added board, you talk about the OVC. We're betting these games when we have good info. We're betting these games when we have strong takes. These are not, I kind of think this team's better than the other teams type of wagers, in my opinion. You talk about the added board, you're dealing almost exclusively with sharp money and wise guy wagers, which means if you got a good read on these teams, the wise guys are betting stats. If you're familiar with the teams, you have a good chance to cash betting added board or extra games, even though they are almost exclusively wise guy wagers.
A-10 battle, Teddy, between Memphis and Temple. Now, we do have a little bit of line movement in this game. All shores open at 3.5, 4, depending where you're shopping at. Now, currently sitting at 5s across the board. Just when I think my hometown Temple Owls have get some mojo and start moving on, they do things like losing to the University of Pennsylvania at home. Not Penn State, people. They lost to the University of Penn, who's a good Ivy League program, but at home, you have to take care of your business. Playing a pretty good Memphis team coming in here tonight. If we take a look at some splits here, Temple minus 5, total of 158. Moneyline split of plus 180, minus 215. Memphis coming in. Look, when you're just looking at the overall stats, they match up pretty well with Temple, Teddy. But then again, when you go on the road, sometimes it is a tough task.
Yeah, and certainly when you talk about Temple losing at home to Penn, I mean, the Big 5 series in Philadelphia, which is one of the best rivalries in basketball. In college basketball, certainly, when these teams face off against one another, taking the points historically has been the way to go in those contests. Not surprised that Temple lost that game to Penn, but this is a strong bounce-back situation. They're certainly facing a Memphis team. You look at the stats, you're right. They're very comparable, except for one thing, strength of schedule. Temple's played a brutal schedule. Memphis has not. Penny Hardaway squad, they have one win all year on the road. Now, they are 9-2 straight up their last 11, and the two losses, Houston and Tennessee. No shame in either of those particular opponents, but the strength of schedule disparity that's very real between these two teams doesn't make me interested in the underdog in this one. It's favored or pass for this better.
Come on, Teddy, what are you saying? The big win by 4 over Tulane, their only road win of the year, doesn't get that nice nostalgia up for an easy win here in the city of brotherly love? Is that what you're telling us?
I don't think it'll be easy if Memphis wins tonight. They might win tonight, but it's not going to come easy.
Should be an interesting one. Super Bowl 53 always on the horizon, getting closer by the day. It is Thursday. It's not this Sunday. It's going to be next Sunday. But there are some interesting line moves that we always want to keep up with. Not a lot to do, Teddy, yesterday with the actual side of the game being minus 2.5. Looks like that's pretty much across the board here. But a little bit of a line move there to the total of 57, 57.5, 58s were showing up in the past days. So coming down a little bit. When we're looking at the total, Teddy, do you take any, obviously, it's going to be in a dome. There's not going to be any weather conditions. But you're looking at one of of the single best preparatory coaches out there, being Bill Belichick, saying, you know what, high-flying offense for the Rams. Let's see how we can, get those intricacies and see what they like to do to bring it down. Still, 57 is enormously high. I know we watched last year, Teddy, right? Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots. Hey, they shot it out. Why can't the Rams? Looking at this number here, I'm always just like an old school mentality saying I see 57, I see a championship game. Maybe they play it closer to the vest. How you feeling on this game, especially with the line move coming a little bit lower here to 57 now?
Sure, and we're seeing the first 56.5 at a leading indicator book at Penny. Penny popped to 56.5 just now, and of course, when Penny moves, the markets tend to be moving in sync with them, not against them. So it's clear there's been sharp money on the under, and the 2.5s, I'm telling you, by kickoff in many places, this line is going to be 3. The wise guys are going to be on LA plus. The public is going to be on New England minus. And for this one particular game, the only game of the year where the public legitimately influences the point spread in a real way, there's so much public money. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see this get to 3. So if you like the Patriots, it's not like you got to run right now, but I'd bet this one earlier rather than later. By next weekend, when we start to talk about this game, while you're flying down to Costa Rica, Donnie, this line probably are going to be sitting in at 3 in many key locations, both here in Las Vegas and around the globe.